This is Kababalaghan 101, your home for creative stories for all supernatural from the Philippine mythology and folklore. The Serpent's Pearl. In the heart of an ancient forest deep in Samar Island, where shadows danced between ancient trees and whispers of forgotten magic lingered in the air, a mystical gem called a carbuncle can be found. This story tells of the heroic Sitrong who bore the magical carbuncle upon its forehead, and his friends as they fight to protect the forest from the threat of men, monsters, and magic. The
Finale, Serpent with the red crest. As Sitrong lay on the forest floor, his life force ebbing away, the shattered carbuncle on his forehead crumbled into a fine, crimson dust. The forest seemed to hold its breath. The battle momentarily paused as all eyes turned to the fallen guardian. With his last ounce of strength, Sitrong inhaled deeply, drawing the mystical red dust into his body. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then, a blinding light erupted from within him, enveloping the clearing in a brilliant crimson glow. When the light faded, Sitrong was gone. In his place rose a majestic creature, Makapo, the gigantic serpent with the red crest. His scales shimmered with an iridescent sheen, each one a miniature prism refracting the forest's light. Atop his head, a magnificent red crest pulsed with power, sending waves of energy rippling through the air. Makapo's eyes, now glowing with an inner fire, turned to his friends. With a thought, he channeled the newfound power coursing through him. Dali was engulfed in a soft, white light. As it faded, she emerged as Lampo, an ethereal white deer with grand, spiraling horns that seemed to be crafted from moonlight itself. Her hooves barely touched the ground, leaving trails of stardust with each step. Buntai, too, was transformed. The nimble macaque grew in size, his form shifting and expanding until he stood as tall as the ancient trees. His fur took on a golden hue, and his tail elongated, becoming a powerful weapon in its own right. Akagan, the giant monkey, let out a roar that shook the very foundations of Maganhan. Datu, momentarily stunned by this unexpected turn of events, quickly regained his composure. With a snarl, he commanded his Anitos to attack. The shadow beasts surged forward, a tide of darkness threatening to engulf the newly transformed heroes. Makapo moved with lightning speed, his serpentine body weaving through the air. The red crest on his head blazed with power as he unleashed bolts of crimson energy. Where they struck, the Anitos howled in pain, their shadowy forms dissipating like mist in the morning sun. Lampo charged into the fray, her ethereal form passing through the shadow creatures as if they were smoke. But wherever she touched, light bloomed, burning away the darkness. Her grand horns swept through the ranks of the Anitos, leaving trails of purifying light in their wake. Akagan's massive fists pounded the earth, sending shockwaves that scattered the shadow beasts. His long tail whipped through the air, catching werewolves and shadow wolves mid-leap and hurling them back into the darkness from whence they came. The tide of battle had turned once again. The Anitos, for all their ferocity, found themselves outmatched by the raw power and synergy of the three transformed heroes. Lacon and his Incanto warriors, reinvigorated by this display, pressed forward with renewed vigor. Datu, seeing his army faltering, decided to take matters into his own hands. Drawing upon the last reserves of his dark power, he transformed once more. His body expanded, becoming a colossal shadow dragon, his wings blotting out the moonlight as he took to the sky. Makapo's eyes narrowed as he watched Datu ascend. With a silent command to his friends to handle the remaining Anitos, the serpent with the red crest launched himself into the air, his long body undulating as he climbed higher and higher. The two titans clashed in the night sky, their battle illuminating the heavens. Datu breathed streams of shadow fire, while Makapo countered with blasts of crimson energy from his crest. They twisted and turned, each trying to gain the upper hand, their massive forms silhouetted against the moon. Below, Lampung and Ikegan worked in perfect harmony to decimate the remaining shadow creatures. Lampung's light weakened them, while Ikegan's raw strength finished them off. The Encanto soldiers pressed forward, reclaiming the forest inch by inch. In the sky, Markupo finally saw his opening. As Datu reared back to unleash another blast of shadow fire, Markupo surged forward. His red crest blazing like a newborn star, he plunged straight into Datu's chest. There was a moment of terrible silence, then an explosion of light that lit up the night like day. When the light faded, Datu was falling, his draconic form dissolving as he plummeted towards the earth. Markupo dove after him, catching the now human sorcerer in his coils just before he hit the ground. As Markupo gently deposited Datu on the forest floor, the last of the Anitos faded away, their connection to their master severed. The clearing fell silent, save for the soft glow of Lampung's form and the heavy breathing of Ikegan. Datu, now a frail old man once more, looked up at Markupo with a mix of fear and awe. The serpent with the red crest towered over him, his crest pulsing with barely contained power. Yet, there was no malice in Markupo's eyes, only a deep, ancient wisdom. "It's over, Datu," Markupo spoke, his voice resonating with the very essence of Maganhan. "Your darkness has been defeated." Datu, his body broken and his power spent, could only nod in acceptance. He slumped to his knees before Markupo, the once proud sorcerer now a pitiful figure in the face of true power born of sacrifice and the power of nature. The old man settled into his rocking chair, his weathered hands resting on his lap as he gazed at his 3 grandchildren seated before him on woven mats. Lucas, the eldest, sat with rapt attention, while Anita fidgeted excitedly, and little Reuben hugged his stuffed monkey close. "Lolo," Anita chirped, "tell us a story about the forest." The old man's eyes twinkled as he began, "Very well, my little ones. Let me tell you about what happened after the great battle in Maganhan. With the darkness broken and the sorcerer defeated, the forest of Maganhan was rejoicing. The air hummed with renewed life, and even the smallest leaf seemed to dance with joy. But amidst the celebration, a solemn gathering took place in a moonlit clearing. Markupo, the majestic serpent with the red crest, coiled silently, his scales shimmering with an otherworldly light. Beside him stood Lampung, the ethereal white deer, and Ikegan, the giant golden monkey. Facing them were the noble Lurkon, lord of Birinang, and the ancient Lola Amian, her branches swaying gently in a non-existent breeze. At the center of their circle, guarded by 2 tall, silent Encanto warriors, knelt the defeated sorcerer, Datu. Lurkon spoke first, his voice resonating with authority. "The threat has been neutralized, but now we must decide the fate of the one who brought such darkness to our realm." Lampung stepped forward, her eyes flashing with righteous anger. "He should be executed for his crimes. Look at the destruction he has wrought upon our beloved forest. How many lives were lost or forever changed because of his lust for power?" Ikegan nodded in agreement, his massive fists clenching. "Lampung speaks true. The forest cries out for justice. We cannot risk him ever threatening Maganhan again." Lolamian's leaves rustled as she interjected, her voice like wind through ancient boughs. "Violence begets violence, my children. Have we not seen enough destruction this day? Perhaps there is another way." Lurkon nodded solemnly. "I agree. In Birinang, we have means to contain even the darkest of magics. Let him be imprisoned there, where he can harm no one else, and perhaps, in time, find redemption." The debate continued, voices rising and falling like the tide. Markupo remained silent throughout, his gaze never leaving the kneeling sorcerer. As dawn broke, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, the first rays of sunlight filtered through the leaves. As if by magic, the transformations of Lampung and Ikegan began to fade. The ethereal deer and giant monkey shimmered and shrank, returning to their original forms of Dali and Bantai. In the sudden hush that followed, Markapo finally moved. He slithered forward, coming face to face with the sorcerer. The old man looked up, his eyes filled with a mixture of fear and resignation. "I admit the wrong I have done," the sorcerer spoke, his voice barely above a whisper, "and I will accept all the punishment my actions deserve. I was drunk on power, and if I could have another chance, I would give my life to return the forest to how it was before I came here." Markapo nodded, his red crest pulsing gently. "Well said." To everyone's surprise, Markapo's throat began to glow with a golden light. From his mouth emerged a glowing orb, around which a tiny serpent was coiled. The orb floated gently into the sorcerer's open hands. "I am amazed by the humility of your words," Markapo declared, "and I will place you to guard the forest." His voice carried the weight of ancient wisdom as he continued, "This is my command to you, guard the forest and teach other humans to respect the forest and all that are living inside it. If you are in danger, use the mutya and help will come." As the sun rose higher, Markapo and his friends began to fade into the shade of the forest. The old sorcerer rose from his knees and faced the glowing sun. With tears in his eyes and the golden ball clutched tightly in his hands, he whispered a prayer of thanks, grateful for forgiveness and the chance at redemption, and that, "My dear ones," the old man concluded, "is how the sorcerer came to be the guardian of our forest." The children sat in awed silence for a moment before erupting into excited chatter. "Thank you, Lolo," they chorused, hugging the old man. With a warm smile, he rose from his chair, placing a gentle hand on each child's head in blessing before turning to leave the kubo. As he walked towards the front yard gate, Anita called out, "Goodbye, Lolo Datu. Tell us another story next time." The old man waved in return, a mysterious smile playing on his lips. As he approached the trees at the foot of the mountain, his hand found the orb hanging from his neck. It glowed with a soft red light as he stepped into the embrace of the forest, fading into the darkness beyond. The young girl watched her Lolo Datu disappear, unaware that she had just witnessed the living legend of Maganhan returning to his eternal vigil as the old hermit, guardian of the forest.
Thank you for joining Sitrong and his friends in their adventure in the Serpent's Pearl. Please look forward to more tales full of magic, wonder, and the supernatural here at Kababalagan 101. We love to hear your thoughts about the story. Let us know in the comment section and share the video to your friends. If you like this kind of videos, please hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to show your support and help us produce more of these type of content for you. You can reach us through our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Say hi, we would love to hear from our friends and grow the community. Thank you and stay spooky.